true.
Islam Makhachev has been grinding hard in camp, showing his trademark intensity with grueling, non-stop training sessions. But according to grappling expert Craig Jones, Makhachev might be facing one of his biggest challenges yet. Jones referenced Makhachev's first clash with Alexander Volkanovski. It's an example of how even the lightweight champ can be pushed when dealing with high-level scramblers, he believes. Jack Della Maddalena brings a unique kind of danger, especially with his unpredictable grappling and ability to break grips in ways that could catch Islam off guard.
I think it's a super difficult fight for Islam, this one. He's like, obviously he's faced Volk twice. We'll forget about the second one, but the first one, very competitive with the grappling. And now we're talking about he's facing a guy that's some of the best scrambling ability, I think, period, in all of MMA, and some of the most unorthodox grappling. And I think that's what Belal struggled with. Belal really just sticks to a blueprint. The blueprint obviously works very well.
Craig Jones went on to say that Jack's creativity inside the cage makes him a much tougher puzzle to solve compared to someone like Belal Muhammad, who typically follows a more structured game plan. He hinted that the size difference between Jack and Islam might catch some fans off guard. According to Craig, this matchup has all the ingredients the UFC looks for: wild exchanges, unpredictable moments, and high-stakes action that could steal the spotlight.
But in terms of creativity in what Belal does, I think it's pretty strict. Jack, as you saw in that fight, some of his off balances and grip breaks and some of the things he does, it's really hard to prepare for that. So I think like Islam, the size difference is going to be quite a lot bigger than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground and how much Islam struggled with him in the grappling exchanges. And having seen Jack and Volks work together, seeing the skill sets, like this is a perfect one. The UFC want guys that stand and bang. I'm trying to still help him out, even though potentially.
Jorge Masvidal didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on a possible showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. Calling it a true high-stakes clash, he pointed out that Islam is a big lightweight, often cutting serious weight to make 155, suggested he might actually be better suited for welterweight. Still, Masvidal gave Islam credit for his strength and fight IQ, but he also had high praise for Jack, calling him a rare talent. In Jorge's eyes, if Jack can pull off the win, he should be considered the top pound-for-pound fighter in the game.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is, though, Jack is special. We're going to see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for... Wow, that's impressive.
Although Jorge slightly favored Islam in the matchup, he didn't underestimate the challenge ahead, he highlighted. Jack's ability to fend off takedowns from Belal Muhammad, a fighter known for his relentless pace, but was quick to remind everyone that Islam's wrestling and technique operate on a completely different level. Jorge acknowledged Jack's edge in striking speed and knockout power, especially in the early rounds, but he believes if Islam can survive the initial onslaught and drag the fight deep, his championship experience and high-level grappling could shift the momentum in his favor.
I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's going to be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Belal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops. A dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
Islam Makhachev's training camps are built on a foundation of intensity and discipline, pushing both body and mind to the edge. With a team of elite Dagestani wrestlers and the guidance of renowned coach Javier Mendez, Islam hones every aspect of his game, from razor-sharp grappling to elite-level fight IQ. His daily grind includes relentless sparring rounds, grueling high-altitude conditioning, and carefully crafted drills designed to prepare for the unique challenges each opponent brings. When it comes to pad work, Makhachev puts in relentless effort, sharpening his timing and precision. With every strike, his stand-up game is evolving fast, with clean and calculated combinations that seamlessly transition into takedown threats. It's not just about throwing power shots, it's about smart footwork, pinpoint accuracy, total control. This blend of technique and intelligence is what continues to shape him into one of the most complete fighters in the sport.
Sure.
Craig Jones also shared a strong vote of confidence in Islam Makhachev. He admitted that he once underestimated Islam's abilities, now considers him among the greatest to ever compete. While he did point out that Islam appears to be coming in a bit lighter, which could raise questions about the size disparity. At 170 pounds, Craig still believes that if the fight hits the mat, Islam has the tools to dominate and even finish Jack with a submission.
Feel confident about this one?
Very, very confident with this one.
You think Islam stays at 170 after this, or do you think he goes back down?
I mean, yeah, good question. I don't know what he's weighing. Like, I think he was posting that he was pretty light, so I'm not sure how he's going to deal with that size difference. I think, obviously, worst case scenario, he goes out ragdolls, potentially submits Jack. I think he's probably going to stay.
You think Ilya beats him?
Who knows with that guy? That guy surprises me every time, eh?
He's incredible, right?
Yeah, I was too hard on him at the beginning. I think I watched some of his fights and just didn't think he was that good. And then, like, I was like, oh, all right. God damn, it's one of the best ever, I think.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Craig Jones wrapped up his thoughts by saying that if Jack manages to defeat Islam, it could put the reigning champ in a difficult position, especially with Ilia Topuria already circling for a title shot at 155. He half-joked that a loss, too. Jack might force Islam to fight his way back up the ladder still. Craig admitted it all hinges on how the fight plays out. If Jack puts on a dominant performance, the impact on Islam's standing could be significant.
Puts Islam in a difficult position. Does he now go back down to fight Ilya after he loses? I know Ilya make jokes. He's like, oh, if you lose to Jack, you have to re-earn the shot of the title. But yeah, I think I really like Ilya's waiting for that fight, and it all is determined by how good a performance Jack does.
Recently released footage shows Islam Makhachev deep in training, sharpening his wrestling with intense focus. He's been drilling takedowns, chaining together wrestling sequences, and challenging himself against bigger, heavier training partners, all in preparation for a potential move to welterweight. These sessions highlight his commitment to adapting his game while maintaining the speed, precision, and control he's known for, even at a higher weight. Islam's elite-level grappling remains one of his most dangerous assets. Islam Makhachev is leaving no stone unturned in training, fully aware of the challenge Jack Della Maddalena brings to the table. His camp has been nothing short of intense. A relentless mix of high-level wrestling drills, crisp striking sessions, and elite sparring rounds. With top-tier coaches and training partners in his corner, Islam is locked in, preparing with laser focus and urgency for what could be one of the toughest tests of his career. Steven Wonderboy Thompson weighed in on the potential challenges Islam Makhachev could face at welterweight. He pointed out that many fighters in the division naturally walk around much heavier than Islam, which could create a strength disadvantage. While Jack Della Maddalena may not be much taller, Thompson believes the power difference could be noticeable, he praised Islam's elite grappling, but reminded fans that Jack has already gone up against strong wrestlers like Bilal Muhammad. Thompson sees it as a tough matchup for Islam, but one he hopes the UFC makes happen.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think The height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Islam, Bilal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Ali Abdelaziz has confirmed that Islam Makhachev will compete for the undisputed welterweight title before the end of the year. If Jack Della Maddalena is unable to defend the belt, the title will be vacated and Islam will face a new opponent. According to Abdelaziz, the UFC has already signed off on the plan, setting the stage for Islam's jump to 170 and a shot at 2-division gold.
When will it happen, Islam and Jack?
Islam fighting for the title this year. The non-interim title, a title. Jack Maddalena is the champion, but if Jack is not available, it will be someone else fighting Islam for the title. That's what the UFC told me. That's what Dana told me. That's what the hunters, everybody said. And that was one of the stipulations. If Islam go up, Jack get injured, and I hope he's healthy, and he seemed like he's healthy, this title will be vacated and Islam will fight for welterweight.
Coach Javier Mendez shared his thoughts on the potential matchup, saying Jack Della Maddalena might be Islam's toughest challenge yet, or maybe not, but either way, Islam is more than ready. He praised Islam's dedication in camp and noted that the move to welterweight suits him physically. According to Mendez, fans can expect to see Makhachev performing at his absolute peak when he steps into the cage.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, Islam's a whole different animal than Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, the weight is not super big for him either. So he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Henry Cejudo predicted that Islam Makhachev will come out on top and claim a second UFC title, calling it the natural next step in his already historic career. On the other side, Kamaru Usman voiced support for Jack Della Maddalena, praising his calm under pressure and saying he has what it takes to hold on to the belt. Both former champions agree. This high-stakes showdown is likely headed to Abu Dhabi this October.